STM docs with LaTeX since the last 12, 13 years or more.
Yes.
So thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sunil, can you make Rahul sir as presenter?
Yes, sir, I have made it.
So you can now share your screen and start.
Okay, I will share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Today we are going to talk about the Beamer presentation. How to create a presentation using LaTeX Beamer. So yesterday you have gone through how the LaTeX works in TechFolio and how the LaTeX can be used for typesetting various areas like equations, title page, figures, tables, etc. You might have get these items in a video, YouTube, something like that. But this time is very crucial. Like we are talking and you are listening to this, and it is very helpful to you to understand what we are talking about and how to work in tech. So we can start with the Beamer presentation. So the Beamer is a powerful LaTeX document class developed by Till Tanto in 2003. So why it is different from other platforms? So because like we discussed yesterday, LaTeX can typeset a precise aesthetic pleasing PDF. That's why we are using Beamer. I mean the tech. So the Beamer is one of the most powerful package to create a presentation in tech. So the Beamer word is came. It's a German name, German word Beamer as a pseudo-angelism for a video projector. Like it is taken from an English word and they have used as a German, something like that. So that's why it's called Beamer. Its meaning is video projector. So it supports all the tech compilers like PDF LaTeX, LaTeX plus DVAPs, then Lua LaTeX, ZTeX, etc. Then comes the sample, like the basic commands that we should know to typeset a presentation using a Beamer class. So on the left, you can see the commands in document class Beamer, like we discussed yesterday, the class files which can be changed, like article, book, etc. Now we are using Beamer for the presentation. Then begin document, then the end document. Inside the begin and end document, we will add the content, and this is the title. Then comes the subtitle, then the author, institution, date, and logo. This is the basic commands to typeset a presentation. It's a title page. For the title page, this can be. Hope you can follow me. So I will show you how this is work in real time. So I have just loaded the text file in the text folio, and by compiling the button, this will create the output. Beamer title. I'll check. Yeah, it's working. So let me give you a quick overview on the TechFolio. This is the TechFolio landing page. On the left, we have the file manager. On the center, we have the editor, which we will edit the text file. And when we edit the text file and compile, we will get the output. And on the right side, we have the output viewer, which is a PDF. And if something goes wrong, there is an error in the text file, we can see and debug from this log window at the bottom. You can use the toggle button to close, open, and close the file manager. And here the font sizes are there. Then the error stop mode, which is required for some errors. We should compile the text file so that we can find out what is the error. That's why it is kept it there. Always it will be always on. And if you required, we just tick away the tick, then compile it. That will does the job. Then the tech live versions, we can use any version of the tech file, tech live, sorry. And then comes the compiler button. It's contain lots of compiler, pdf, latex, ztech, pdf text, ctech, piptech, make index nomenclature, whatever record to typeset a book or article, research article, report, everything is here. Then comes the compile button, then the save. Then on the right we have the preferences. That is all about our Techfolio. And coming to the Beamer, I hope you can follow me. You can use the title, then the subtitle, then again the author, institution name, the date, and the logo. Okay. Now the frames. The first page we have seen is about the title page. Now comes the next pages. Like, it's called the frame, and the frame is an environment, and it should be given like begin frame, end frame, and it can have a title and a subtitle. And for the title, we can use slash frame title. That will comes at the top, and the content inside the center of the slide. Since the logo given here, it will appear along all the slides on the right side. Whichever you can adjust the position of the logo also. So to avoid confusion, I just tick on whatever in the slide. Okay. Then the begin frame, end frame, frame date. This is straightforward. There's nothing new. Just with the name frame is here. Again, now the overlays, like as you can see from the first slide, you can see like this is an effect. Like, oh, the first item is there, then when I press that next button, it will appear the next one again. This can be done using this itemize option. We can use two ways. Like, we can add this as an option argument, but there is a problem because the enum item package, there is a issue with the enum item package that will not allow to add the option here. But there are some items are there, I need to check it. But for now, we can follow this to avoid confusion. This is the straightforward thing. You can add the first slide, second slide, third, and fourth. Like, I will navigate now. You can see the slide 1 and the slide 1 in the output will change. First one, second one, third one. Like, they are appending like first, second, third. The default will be the first one, then the second one will be appended, third one, and fourth one. Okay, this is how the itemize can be used as an overlays. I hope you can follow this. I will show you how it is work in the real time symbol. Uh, mm, dash slash begin frame, end frame, By default, the output will be like this. So we need to add the overlays. To add overlays, you can add one hyphen this. So this is the output. Like when we try to present it, the first page will be displayed. When we press the next button, it will show the another slide which contain the all the two. Now this can be done in another way, like you said earlier, like option to the itemize. Hmm? Ah, yes, yes. Yes, this also can be done. But when we use special packages like enumerate, enum item, this won't work. So we can use the alternate way to use the overlays feature. Hope you can follow this. Do you have any doubt or a clarification on how to typeset the overlays? Just ask. Okay. Now we can go to some features like the pause, the same feature, the overlay feature. Like we have seen the overlay feature in the itemize, but sometimes we don't need an itemize, but need to present something like different sentences in a different slides. Like it should be append one by one, one after another. So that can be done using the pause command. Like I can show you that. The following. So by default, it will appear as a paragraph like this. Press enter for to make it in a two line. Now we can add slash pause pause. That will do the same thing we have done in the itemize. The first one, the second one. Now how it feels like is I need to download this and make it as a presentation. Open it in the presentation. Let me open it. So when I press the presentation mode, I hope you can see this. So it feels like this. When I press the next button, it will append it again. This is the way it works. It's actually creating a multiple slides, and when we present it, it will appear like it is appending the previous item. Okay. So that is all about the overlays. Like we have discussed about the itemized overlay, then comes the normal text overlay. Now we can go through the another feature, the highlighting the sentences or word. You can use the alert command shown here to alert a word in a paragraph or a sentence like it is important. Like we presenting a topic, we need to highlight something, we can use the alert command. And for a definition and the theorem and examples, it will be like this. It should be coded inside an environment called block, begin block, end block, and whatever the title can be given here as an mandatory argument, like a definition here, theorem, etc. For examples, there will not be any mandatory argument to give the title. The begin example itself will create a title called examples. As you can see here, this is the input, and on the right is the output of this code. So this is begin block, end block. It should contain the title, definition, then the alert block, then the examples. The block will, the definitions can be, the title can be changed like here and there. The change is in the color, definition in blue color, theorem, and examples. And this color is according to the current theme. This can be changed. This will be changed when the themes is changed. When the theme is changed, the colors are always changes. So it is according to the theme you are using. Okay, that is all about the highlighting the sentence or word. Now comes the themes. Like I said earlier, we can use different types of themes. That we have a lot of themes in the repository, and we can use its name, like use theme Madrid, then use color theme Beaver. These are the two commands to change the theme and the color scheme, and it should be a place inside the preamble. The preamble is called the area between the document class and the begin document. So you can use the command use theme and use color theme to change the output. Like the same output you have seen before is has been changed to the output here, like the definition, theorem, example, the same code with a different theme appears like this. This can be changed by using another theme. I hope you can follow this. Use theme, use color theme. Now, again, another theme, the title page. Previously, you have seen the words and highlighting sentence. Now, the front page has been changed. The themes can be checked from this website, https://latex-beamer.com/tutorials beamer-themes. This is the website, and you can you can check out and use the names of the themes inside this use theme command. It will instantly changes the output, and you can verify it. Okay, some another features like handout. This can be used while submitting the presentation to universities. Something like why the handout needed is because, like I said earlier, when we uh, typeset the presentation with the overlays, it will be like now the PDF pages is 5 total PDF pages, but the content is actually appearing in one, two, three pages, the whole content. But for the presentation purpose, we have had the overlays, and it will be shown like one after another. So the total page number is increased and it is not needed for a submission. So that time you can use the option called handout. So while compiling the text file, yeah, you can see this. Like I said earlier, the content is only in the 3 pages that has been done here. That the overlay feature has been removed and typesetted the content in 3 pages. This is required when you submit the Beamer presentation to the universities. But when you after submitting it, you should present it, the same presentation. So that time you can use the same code without handout option. So this will help you to rework. No need to rework the entire slides. So again, it will become a presentation with overlays. When I give the handout, it will again string to the 3 page. Okay. Now comes the aspect ratio, because nowadays these screens are in a way that the ratio is in the 16:9 ratio. The default will be in the 4:3 ratio that I have created by default. As you can see here, there is a black space, the empty spaces on the right and the left, because my screen is in 16:9 ratio. The average screen in the market is now in the 16:9 ratio, and we can use the same in the presentation also. So to achieve that, you should give the option option to the document class as aspect ratio equal to 16:9. I can show you here. Aspect ratio is equal to 16:9. Now the presentation is set to the 16:9 ratio. You can download it. Okay. Now you can see the difference. There are no white space, the black screen on the right and left. That is the option aspect ratio 16:9. These are the basic things when we create our presentation in Beamer. Not in Beamer. Every platform needs these kinds of things, because the presentation should be very much clear, and it should be accepted by the readers. So that's the aspect ratio. Now comes the option fragile. This is to typeset a verbatim text. Sometimes if you need to present a code block like we discussed yesterday, the verbatim environment. So the verbatim environment cannot be used directly into the frame environment. So to use the verbatim inside the frame, you should give the option fragile, 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 as an optional argument to the begin frame environment. Okay. Yeah, that's the basic things about the what we need to know about the Beamer class to typeset a presentation in LaTeX. It's a quick presentation Hope you can follow, and if you have any doubt, just ask me. Do you need any clarification on any of the area, or do you have any questions? uh, Anybody there? I can see people. If you have any, yeah, okay. That is all about my presentation. And if you need any assistance in creating the uh, payment presentations, just ask me. Okay, I hope there are no questions. So, that is all about the presentation. Now, let me say something about the tech folio. Like, if you need to install the tech folio inside your university or in the college, anywhere, we can assist you, and you can download the version, the offline version, and download it, and then install it by yourself. Or if you can give us the access to the system, and we can uh, install it for you, and it is very easy. And now you may think about why it is needed, because as you know, the everywhere is AI, and the data integrity is needed. So by installing the tech folder in your server or in your campus, that will ensure the integrity, that the whole data will be in your server, and it can be used from anywhere in your campus using a browser. Then that is very helpful to you to use the tech and its feature. And using this Techfolio interface, you can typeset any forms of uh, article, book, etc. If you need any assistance, just contact us. That is about the Techfolio. Okay. Uh, I think it's quite earlier. I have finished my presentation 50 minutes earlier. So if you have any extra questions regarding the how can I install on person? Yes, of course. But actually, currently the version of the TechFall is available for the Linux versions. We are still working on developing the version for the Windows and Mac. What you can, if your system is a Linux one, definitely you can install it. Any other questions? So why I asked for a server, because, like I said yesterday, there we can use different versions of TechLive. The TechLive itself contain 4 to 5 GBs per TechLive. So it is better to use a different system and access it from another client systems. that will be helpful to you. And you just need a browser, and you can do whatever you want inside the tech. That is also an app. Sometimes when you not correctly install the tech file, installation in your system, and you are working in a tech file, and you are going to work the tech file in another system, that might and sometimes that will be an issue, that the old code will not work in new, and the new code will not work in old. That kind of issues that would be there, that can be avoided when you use this interface. Okay, that is all about. If you have any questions or inquiries, you can contact us. So the next session is by uh, 10 10 a.m. So can we take a break now and then come get back to 10 9? Sorry, 10.
Okay, thank you, sir, for wonderful session. Now we will get back at 10 p.m.
Sorry.
We will get back at 10 a.m.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Thank,
good.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, Rahul sir.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the next session will be done by Niranjan, and he'll be here. I am handovering the laptop to him.
Okay, sir.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So I am going to present about different classes in LaTeX, and for that, can you make me the screen sharer?
Yes, sir, I have made you. Please
Okay.
share your screen.
Tell me when it's visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So yeah, we have in today's and yesterday's sessions, we have already seen some examples, and most of the examples we have seen were using document class article, and the last session talked about document class beamer. So these are the only two classes that we have seen, and I will shortly talk about what a class is in LaTeX, and then we will move ahead and discuss a class file we, as a part of Tug India, have developed. So there are two types of classes in LaTeX. One class of classes is called standard classes. These classes include these are supported by the LaTeX project itself, and they are their official support and their documentation is provided by the LaTeX project team. And the most extensively used and everywhere the class that is seen is known as document class article. It is the most standard class you might have seen in the LaTeX ethos, and it is obviously extensively used in academia. The other standard classes include book. So the idea is that you focus on your content and you don't worry about the typesetting details of the layout. So, for example, when you are typesetting an article, you focus on the content and forget about how the article should look. That part will be taken care of by LaTeX program itself. So when suppose I am writing an article, and now it is a time that we have 5 6 articles by our team member, and now we need to convert them uh, into a book. So what we do is we combine the source code of multiple articles, and we change the document class to book, and then the typesetting is done as if it was a book. So the authors need to focus only on the content and not on its layout. This is how the idea of layouts work in LaTeX. There is another class called report, which is just a small addition to article and book. uh, like for example, in articles you typically don't require chapters, but in book you do. So only book class supports chapters, and article doesn't. But in report you might need chapters as well as a layout like an article. So the report class is like visually very similar to the article class, but it has chapters. So these are the three main standard classes you will see. There is one more, but that is merely obsolete these days, which is letter. It is used for typesetting letters, but nowadays letters are not that commonly used, so that's why it is very obsolete these days. These are the standard classes. They are supported by the project team, and all the documentation and its development and its maintenance is done by the project team. There are some non-standard classes. These classes include some extensions developed by the community. As we know, LaTeX is a free and open source software, and therefore a lot of additions are done by the community itself. Some people feel like they can develop something better in the current system, and they use the they use the existing tools, and they create a better software and they release it in the community. That's how free and open source software grows. So these are non-standard classes. They are not supported by the team, but they are supported by other volunteer contributors. So Memoir is one prominent non-standard class which provides extensive support for typesetting books. So it is visually similar to the book class, but it offers a lot of features that are not provided by the default book class. So that's one major non-standard class. Then there is one LTX talk, which is a recent addition to the group of non-standard classes. This class is like just now we discussed Beamer presentations, and these days like tagged PDF and accessible PDF is becoming a necessity. So LTX talk offers a way to typeset your presentations in a tagged manner. So your presentations will be tagged and they will be machine readable, they will be accessible. For example, people with reading difficulties can use screen readers to read the presentations. So this is a new addition to the classes. It's an experimental release. That means that some things might change here and there in the future. It's not stable, but it is pretty pretty much stable for basic functioning. For example, the current presentation you see is created using LaTeX LTX talk, not using Beamer, and this is an accessible presentation. So like once you open it in a viewer that can read the PDFs, you will be able to read this presentation without using any other tools. So that's another addition. Then there is one standalone class which is often used, and mostly it is used for creating examples. For example, let's say you have to create a figure in LaTeX. You as you start reading about it, or like you studied some part of table. So what suppose you just want to create a table and nothing else. The PDF creates a large page, right? And then you probably have to screenshot the table and then input it somewhere else wherever you want. But that is tedious. That is not that is not the easiest. Let's say you have some mathematical equation which you want to create in LaTeX because it's easy, and then you want to embed it somewhere else, and that is not very easy, right? To create from a PDF, a big full page PDF. What you can do is you can use the standalone class and write the content of your equation. Then it will create a PDF of the exact size of your content. So for example, if your equation is just 1 or 2 lines, that is the height of your PDF created with standalone. So that's another very useful and handy non-standard class. So yeah, you might check it out. And then there are some journal specific classes. Some are most of these are created by the STM team. Else article, then CAS SC and CAS DC are some good examples, and these are developed for Elsevier journals. Other journals also have their own classes, but these are some very commonly used and very prominent article classes, and these are specific to the journals that are like, for example, Elsevier has a particular layout and they require their articles to be in a particular layout, and these classes will help you to create those layouts, and they require the submissions to be done using these classes. So if you are planning to submit research articles to Elsevier, you might check these classes out. So these are some non-standard classes. Now we have seen a lot of examples of classes. What I think we still don't have in LaTeX is, like we still haven't seen yet in LaTeX, is a class that can help students to create their dissertations. Like pretty much every degree requires a dissertation to be submitted, and that dissertation needs to be in a particular style required by a journal. That support is not really available in default LaTeX. Like there was no official class for doing that, and mostly LaTeX is used in academia, and universities require their students to use LaTeX. But then when they are supposed to work with LaTeX, it becomes very difficult because they have to create the whole layout of the university's requirements, and that might not be the easiest. So we, as a part of Tug India, decided to develop a class called UDIS. UDIS stands for University Dissertations, very basic. And this bundle like saves the tedious amount of time that is required for creating the layouts required by universities. Pretty much every university requires a standard layout in which students are supposed to submit their dissertations, and we saw certain dissertations and from various universities, and we created so like one big problem that happens is proliferation of like because every university requires a particular layout. Sometimes what they do is, if they have a LaTeX expert, or if they themselves know some LaTeX, what they do is they create their own classes. They submit it to CTAN, and then they ask their students to use that class for creating their dissertations. But what happens is, this creates a huge bunch of LaTeX classes which are like mutually incompatible. Like you can't use the content of one class in the other class because they are written by completely different people with different ideas and stuff like that. So that also creates a certain level of hurdle in like smooth process. So we developed a university agnostic method, and that is called the UDIS bundle. And it is developed and maintained by us, Tug India. Tug India is Tech Users Group India. It's a non-profit initiative, and many of our STM team members are actively working in Tug India. So this is the class we will discuss today, because it might help you to create your dissertations. So we will like in order to see what UDIS can do for you, we will like one easy way is to go to CTAN, which is Central Tech Archive Network, and check the documentation of UDIS. UDIS class is extensively documented, like all its features and all the programming nitty-gritties are pretty well described in the documentation of UDIS. But here we will have a quick overview of how the class functions. So in order to create a basic, like absolute basic example of UDIS, one can use a code like this document class, and now as we have seen already, we need to like uh, use the class UDIS instead of the usual class article. You need to say document class UDIS, and there is an optional argument provided by the class itself. It's called placeholders, and if you use this argument, what you will see is you will see a document that demonstrates how your document will appear if you use UDIS class. Like it will fill all the necessary elements of the document, and it will create a sample document. So let's create one in our editor, and let's see how it works. So this is another example I will show later, but for the time being we will just use this code. Okay, so when we compile the class, this is the output. We will download it and see step by step what are its is this the PDF? Yeah. No, something's wrong.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So first we have a title, then we have a subtitle, then we have the author with pronouns, then we have a line that is usually required by universities, a dissertation submitted in the partial fulfillment of something, then the name of the university and the name of the department. These are some basic fields that the program fills for you when you use the parameter placeholders. Now we will go back to our example. So now we'll see the actual like commands that are used in order to produce this. One important aspect of this is UDIS class provides optional arguments. So you can use key value options like seen here. We used placeholders as a key. This thing is called a key. You see there is no backslash here. This is not a command. This is called a key, and once you use the key, it does some job for you. So similarly, UDIS class provides some keys, and with the same names it provides commands also. So you can either use these options to the document class command directly, or you can use these commands after loading the class, and both of them produce the exact same output. Now these fields are, as written in this slide, are required by the UDIS class. If you are, for example, creating a document and you did not provide any of these entries, then your document will not compile. You will get an error, and the error messages are pretty like designed in a helpful way. Like you will almost always understand what the program is missing, but still, in order to avoid errors, it is required that you use all of these options. And when you use all of these options, you like get the correct PDF. Now, these are very basic and intuitive options. You have title, then you have author, then you have stream, discipline, degree, supervisor, and department. These are required by almost all the dissertations. So in discipline, you can like in stream, you can use something like arts, commerce, science, or any other stream you are pursuing. In discipline, you can say let's say computer science or mathematics or history or economics or whatever. Degree is MA, PhD, and whatever your the degree you are pursuing. And yeah, your supervisor, if there are multiple supervisors, you can provide a list of names and the department. These are absolutely required fields. You can't create a document without submitting these details. After that, there are some fields which are optionally supported. That means you may or may not use these items. Like you can skip these items completely and still it will work. Some of these items are not provided as commands, they are only provided as options. Many authors prefer to give their pronouns, and if they want to do so, they can use the option pronouns or the command pronouns, and that will be printed just after the name of the author, like seen here. Let me zoom in a little. Yeah, like this is the author name, and in a smaller size we are printing the pronouns. It is optional. If you don't give it, this will not appear, and the positioning of the author name will be correct, so you don't need to worry about that. Then there is subtitle, which may not be necessary always. So for example, this document has a subtitle, but it is not maybe always required, so subtitle is optional. Then there is a short title. If you use short title, it will be printed on each and every page later on the right side or on the left side, depending on the position you choose. So that is one thing. Universities sometimes have logos, like they require the students to print the logo of the university on the front page. If that is the case, you can use logo option or the command. Now, when we were developing UDIS, we thought that since we are Tug India, we should think about the multilingual nature of India, and that is why we supported languages with UDIS. So if you use language option and pass your language, you can create the dissertation in your language also. It is the support is as of now limited. We don't support all the languages. Currently there are 3 or 4 languages we support, but we plan to extend that support. And if you are interested, you can contact us, and the details of Tug India can be found in the documentation of UDIS. Secondly, since we were like Tug India also tries to promote free software, so we also added a license option, which is an optional argument. You don't need to give it always. If you don't give it, it is completely ignored. But if you want to, let's say, if you want to keep your work freely accessible, like open access, that is a known word in academia. If you want to do that, we support CC by SA, like Creative Commons attribution share alike license. For example, the sample document. If you use CC by SA, you may see a page like just a second. Yeah, something like this. Like you will see the name of your dissertation, then copyright and the copyright years, which also are customizable with the next option, copyright years, and your name, the author, and then you can see the statement that is required by Creative Commons institution, and this is hyperlinked to the correct link of the license code. So if you open this, you will see the full text of the license. This is the standard format in which licenses are printed, so that is supported. And since, like we said, we want to support local languages in this, So this copyright word you might want to replace. In that case, you can just use local copyright option, and then you use whatever word you have for copyright, like for example, Pratimudradhikar in Marathi, or I think in Hindi also it's the same. So you can use something like this with the option local copyright, and that will be printed here instead of the word copyright. So this way, the first 2-3 pages of the dissertation are done for you, and all you need to do is give some basic commands. These are the only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mandatory commands, and your first page of the dissertation is almost ready. There are obviously more options that we provide with UDIS, but that requires some advanced skills, and we will show you some examples, but it's always recommended that you check out the documentation and see it yourself. Now we'll quickly see an example of a multilingual document, like for example, let's say. So this is how you can use it: title, author, discipline, university, stream, degree, supervisor, and department. All of them are used as commands. We will see its use as options also. So now if I say language is equal to Hindi and I compile, the fonts are automatically selected. Trust me, you're seeing this right now, and it seems to be very easy. I'm just giving the language and it's just printing correctly. But if you try to do it on your own, if you try to switch the language English from English to any other language, it's very tedious in LaTeX. And we are like, because we as Indian universities often require a lot of Indian languages dissertations, we are simplifying that process for you. So like the fonts and like the basic details are automatically selected for you, and you can see now the language is Hindi. Now you can see instead of the word contents, you're getting the word Anukram, which is used in Hindi. So similarly, you can see the first page also has changed a little now. A dissertation submitted in the partial fulfillment of the requirements of the PhD program. PhD is retrieved from here, the degree in linguistics. This is retrieved from discipline, then Mumbai University Department of Linguistics. So why I gave this example is if you fill these entries correctly, you will get the exact results that you expect. So now we will also see uh, how you can use the same options instead of commands. For example, I can say after language, if I use this, and now one thing you have to remember is you can't use commands inside the optional argument of document class. So this has to be a key like this. This is the key and this is its value. Key value is a very commonly known pair used in programming languages. So now if I compile the document, the output is exactly the same. There is no difference because the same commands are supported as options also. So I'm not going to show you each and every command, but you can just basically what this means is instead of adding these as commands, if you prefer to use key value mechanism, because the backslash is confusing, sometimes you miss it and then things go wrong and whatever. If you want to avoid that, you can just give it as a comma separated list of key values. One thing you have to remember is you can't forget commas. In commands, you have to make sure you use the backslash correctly. but in key values you have to remember the commas. But just doing that will give you uh, an almost ready document which you can submit to your university. There is also an option blind, which I would like to show you. Many a times universities require a blindfolded peer review. See, I missed a comma, this won't compile, so I need to add a comma before that. So many a times universities require you to submit a blind document. So that means there is no mention of my name as well as my supervisor, and that option is already supported here. So if you want, if first round of your review is supposed to be blind, you can use this word, and even though you have given the author, it will not be printed in the output. And you see the copyright notice also has disappeared, because copyright notice requires you to mention the author, right? And you can't do that because that is not supported, that is not advised by the university. So this is how the blind option works. So there are these options, and I would recommend you to check them out in the documentation of UDIS. So like this, these were the examples I wanted to discuss. Now I will open for the questions, and like if anybody has any question or any clarification is required, I can try to answer them. I see no questions in chat. Okay, so Vineet sir, if there are no questions, should we wind up?
If anybody want to ask any question, please raise your hand so that I can unmute you.
Yep, we will share the presentations. It's not PPT though. PPT is a proprietary format owned by Microsoft. We create presentations using LaTeX. We will share the presentations with you. Yes, Ankur. So, if you are talking about UDIS, I can show you the manual. So ctan.org is the place where you can, so ctan.org, after that /pkg, that leads you to any package you want, and like any package that is already submitted to ctan. So we will we'll go to the page of UDIS. Inside UDIS, you can see package documentation. So we have a pretty extensive documentation of UDIS, and all the commands that we discussed in the presentation are given here, and you can study them here if you want. If you're curious, the implementation, how these things are developed in LaTeX, is also given and very well documented. Like how the code works is explained with comments. So yes, you can study that using the link for official documentation. And about you are asking about Tech Studio. So Tech Studio, I guess, is an editor like Techfolio. So I'm not sure what you like for practice, right? For practice, you can do it on Techfolio also. There is no problem. But you can like there is it does not depend on any editor as such. You can find the documentation and you can practice it wherever. Okay. Any other questions?
Okay, sir. I think there is no question. So thank
Okay.
you for wonderful session.
Okay. Welcome. So if you have any questions later, you can reach to us on the contacts you already have. Our email IDs, you can share them with students, and then we will
Okay.
try to help you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome, welcome.